tax deal, final votes seen next week. Congressional Republicans reached a deal on final tax legislation on Wednesday, clearing the way for final votes next week on a package that would slash the U.S. corporate tax rate to 21% and cut taxes for wealthy Americans. Under an agreement between the House of Representatives and the Senate, the corporate tax would be 1 percentage point higher than the 20% rate earlier proposed, but still far below the present headline rate of 35%, a deep tax reduction that corporations have sought for years. As they finalized the biggest tax overhaul in 30 years, Republicans wavered for weeks on whether to slash the top income tax rate for the wealthy, but in the end, they agreed to cut it to 37% from the current 39.6%. This was despite criticism from Democrats that the Republican plan tilts toward the rich and corporations, offering little to the middle class. "I think we've got a pretty good deal," Senate Finance Committee Chairman Orrin Hatch told reporters. The emerging agreement would repeal the corporate alternative minimum tax, set up to ensure profitable companies pay some federal tax, and expand a proposed $10,000 cap for state and local property tax deductions to also include income tax, lawmakers and sources familiar with the negotiations said. The agreement would also get part of the Obamacare health law by repealing a federal fine on individuals who fail to obtain health insurance, while authorizing oil drilling in Alaska's Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. Both add-on measures were part of nailing down sufficient votes for passage. Further details of the agreed legislation were not yet available. A final bill could be formally unveiled as early as Friday, with decisive votes coming next week in both chambers. Moving the corporate tax target rate to 21% from 20% gave tax writers enough revenue to make the tax cuts immediate, Republican Senator Ron Johnson told reporters. In a White House speech, Trump said the Internal Revenue Service has advised that if he signs the bill into law before Christmas, the tax cuts would take effect in February. "If Congress sends me a bill before Christmas, the IRS has just confirmed that Americans will see lower taxes and bigger paychecks beginning in February," he said. The IRS had no immediate comment. A Trump administration official said the IRS will have to readjust its paycheck tax withholding tables for employers and that new withholding levels would take effect in February. Under the bill, tax returns being filed next year for 2017 would not be affected, but returns filed in 2019 for 2018 would. Trump appeared in the White House with several middle-class families that he said would benefit from the tax bill. The Joint Committee on Taxation and the Congressional Budget Office, both nonpartisan research units of Congress, have forecast that rich taxpayers and businesses would gain disproportionately from the debt-financed Republican proposals. As drafted, the Republican plan was expected to add as much as $1.5 billion to the $20 billion national debt in 10 years. With that in view, Republicans have been urgently trying to finalize details of their package without increasing its estimated impact on the federal deficit and the debt. At a tax event held by Democrats, Moody's Analytics chief economist Mark Zandi said the Republican bill, if enacted, would cause interest rates to rise, meaning the benefits of a lower corporate tax rate would be completely washed out. Stock markets have rallied for months in anticipation